every Friday, same time, same place. Today, I get with me some new alejo them, for can help me talk this talk. As una all see, today, I not ask a question, I make a statement. I say, Sierra Leone Commissions of Inquiry, the road to the white paper report. So therefore, then they already don't tell una say, we get to go back and say if you don't know usai you come out, you're not gonna know usai they go. So for make we know usai we they go, we need for know usai we come out. And that's make today at the take una back down memory lane. For make we see waiting don't happen so far, right up to waiting we see yesterday. We go up much small but waiting happen yesterday. But this not a time of learning. This not a time of education, and also this not a time for solutions. So therefore, I promise you a 4-part series. A 4-part series why? And they can take una down memory lane to usai we don't reach so now today. And una for no say the commissions them and get 3 different kotos them. All them 3 different kotos then they all write 3 different paper them, 3 different reports them. We then hand to the current administration, the president. It will be rather unfair for me for make a lump all them 3 things then they put them inside one show. So what thing we get for do? We get for look the reports them one by one. We get for look report number 1, 48 pages. We get for look report number 2, 15 pages. We get for look report number 3, 12 pages. And we get for see waiting the inside and report, and then we get for talk about them on their own merit, and then move forward. But before we sit down inside this talk proper today, I want for make me panelists them tell Fambul they do. Today I want make Madam Mataselu tell Fambul they do.
Hope say all man do okay.
Okay. And today I get with me all the way from London, England. May see no more how we like Salone, how we like we country. On an almost o'clock in London, England right now. It don't pass 1 o'clock. So for make us in team up, then hour then so it don't pass 1 a.m. in the morning. Just for can't talk about Salone business. Must no say he like in country 2-2-1 and he wants the in country in better one. So I want make my Mrs. Kadi Johnson Cole. Make yourself tell family I do this event. Okay. So the other person we get for tell family I do this event, a person who I all know. As a matter of fact, I know some people in the refer to them as the male version of Matilda, which is quite funny. So this now Dr. Ali Iskandri. We're not a stranger to her. And I want to make una know say. Next week, Saturday, Dr. Aliyu Iskandri, they begin in own show na VOS, where you get for the talk about immigration issues them. Next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. Every Saturday, 7 p.m. Dr. Aliyu get for Sidom, they talk about immigration issues them. And that subject matter, then a subject matter where they affect beaucoup Sierra Leoneans them. And not just Sierra Leoneans them no more, it affect beaucoup Africans them as well. Need to understand the laws of the country so that you're able to better protect yourself. Dr. Iskandri, tell family they do.
Good evening, good afternoon. If not in Australia, good morning.
Yes, indeed. Good evening, good afternoon. And if not in Australia, indeed, good morning. So, family, I know one for waste beaucoup time today. And they can make una yeri something them because something them can they want can don't forget. So yesterday on Ayeri, where the president, he received the white paper report. But before he received that white paper report, they seen them in on the way don't happen. So even before we talk waiting the inside them paper then day and waiting in self talk yesterday, it good for make we go back and make we remember waiting in don't happen. So I will ask the technical team. Make them play for me the first video. We go take una to Usai. All this thing begin 2.5 years ago.
subject to, or I dare say, subordinate to the powers vested in the commissioners.
So the Umaru Fofana reporting on the release of the transition report.
Fofana has more from Freetown. Grim, gloomy, grubby. These are some of the adjectives being used to describe the contents of the audit. It speaks of corruption and abuse of office on a grand scale by the government of former President Ernest Bai Koroma. The allegations are wide-ranging and mind-boggling. The massive sales of state assets to the former president and his acolytes, the awarding of phony and inflated contracts for goods and services, the issuance of diplomatic passports to purported housewives of members of the former ruling party, the government renting as offices houses belonging to government officials at inflated costs, state-owned banks having to write off as bad debts millions of dollars of loans given to officials of the former ruling party, overpriced arms contracts, inflated cost of roads, some of them priced at over $3 million per kilometer, some concessions given to mining companies and exempted from any form of tax whatsoever, and entrenchment of mono-ethnic politics. The report also says the government's own shares at the Sierra Ruta Mining Company were sold when the miner was making huge profits to the former president and his cousin who was heading the company, and they both made a profit of over $100 million. The head of the transition team and now Chief Minister Professor David Francis looked peeved as he addressed the press conference. He gave me his impressions of their findings.
Sierra Leone was brought to near financial bankruptcy and the worst economic crisis since independence because of the activities, the poor governance of the former APC government. That is one. Secondly, and most importantly, that it was done in a way that represents a framework for what you would describe as an organized criminal racketeering enterprise responsible for the dysfunctional nature of the state itself.
What do you say to someone who says this could be a witch hunt?
Well, this is not about witch hunt. This is really to establish the basis for democratic accountability. We are recommending that a forensic audit be made through a special audit process to establish the key facts, and a judge-led commission of inquiry, which should be independent and transparent. This is to ensure that this does not happen again in Sierra Leone.
He said that as a Sierra Leonean, he was ashamed of the things he saw during the audit, calling them disgraceful, egregious infractions. The report calls for a travel ban to be slammed on all those named in the report. Many of them have already left the country, with their extradition to be likely requested by the Commission of Inquiry to be set up. President Julius Maada Bio said he would act on the report as a matter of urgency.
I've just received a copy of the report, which has been long awaited. But I want to say this clearly, that we have to draw the line on corruption in this country. We have to fight corruption, and it is a fight that we must win. I know corruption is going to fight back, but we are on the better side of history. This is just the beginning. Corruption is at a level that can destroy this nation. I consider the level of corruption that we have met as a national security issue.
The allegations contained in the report with detailed figures and documents suggest corruption in Sierra Leone is not a kidney stone, it's a cancer. While not many here will be surprised at some of these allegations, most could be blown away by their scale and scope. The former president Ernest Bai Koroma, who is out of the country, was not available for his reaction. His media officer Ismail Sharif told me that they had not yet seen the report and so could not respond.
Umaru Fofana reporting there from Free.
So this is how this all started. So waiting on I see yesterday, now so this one also begin. When the former government, they hand over power to this new incoming government, then do waiting and call a transition report. where then go investigate, waiting the other past governments been don't do, and waiting and the left give them, waiting and come meet and whatnot. So then call them a transition report. Then say when they see this transition report, when they don't compile all things and don't put all things together, then say, the surprise will meet them. According to Dr. David Francis, in his own word, it says it was the revelation, the thing where this transition report, where they finding reveal now nothing short of an organized criminal racketeering exercise, disgraceful, egregious infractions. And then the president, upon receiving the report, say we need to draw the line on corruption, and says, what the report contains, in conclusion by Umaru Fofana, that it is not a kidney stone. One can say kidney stone, one small pebble, one small stone, no more so. Where if they give you whatever, you can able pass them. Say not a kidney stone, it's a cancer. Cancer, we mean say it gets the propensity, gets the potential for kill you, for finish you completely. Now, upon the receipt of that transition report, the Umaru Fofana gets the reaction of the outgoing regime. Now make me listen to waiting the outgoing regime been say at the time. So people wanna bear with me. This is not about the numbers game, how many people are viewing, how many people are watching. This is about education. This is about educating our people. This is about making sure that we do not miss the mark if we have missed the mark in the past. So it is important to go back from when ends we started so that we can come to Usai with this right now and then move forward. I'll go make the technical team play the reaction of the government's transition report.
Mission of inquiry of the former administration from the Sierra Leonean capital, Umaru Fofana reports.
Down but not out. Supporters of the opposition APC party remain unfazed and undaunted, even in the face of perhaps their most difficult moments since they were overthrown in 1992. They chanted their party song, assuring themselves of victory. Their party's 10-year stewardship, which ended a little under 100 days ago, has been impugned by very serious allegations of corruption contained in the new government's transition report. In a lengthy speech and joined by his party's presidential candidate and his running mate, the opposition party's Secretary General, Usman Yansane, said the report was a calculated ploy by the new administration to decimate their main political rivals through harassment, intimidation, and threats. All of this, he said, they would stoutly resist. He gave me a shorter version of his party's reaction.
The transition report is essentially a witch hunt. The APC served for 10 years, and during that period, there are functionaries that are today given prominent positions in the SLPP who served in government, who served as focal persons in some of the transactions that are now described as criminal transactions, but they've never been mentioned in the report. We also believe that a transition report is not a tribunal to proffer suggestions for criminal action against people. And in their presentation, it was clear that even before they presented the report to President Julius Maada Bio, they had come to conclusions as to what would happen to members of the APC. They will not end corruption if it is one-sided.
So are you saying that of all the allegations of corruption, of mono-ethnic politics, the former government selling some of the government's assets to its cronies, all of these allegations are false as far as you are concerned?
No, I'm not saying they are false. What I'm saying is that this should be brought before a competent court of law. But conclusions are already being made. And it is also a witch hunt because there are over 30 names that were not called the sale of government properties. prominent people who are holding important positions in the SLPP. So, but if you call a few people and leave out others who also bought these assets, then it is a biased behavior.
So are you admitting guilt but not alone?
I'm not admitting guilt until a competent court proves that our people are guilty.
With the Commission of Inquiry now sanctioned by President Julius Maada Bio to be co-chaired by a foreign judge and their Sierra Leonean counterparts, Yasanet said they would cooperate fully and that they had asked all their members who left the country since their defeat to return home and prove their innocence. With that judicial investigation expected to get underway very shortly, the president has also ordered a forensic audit of all government departments and agencies to be carried out by the highly respected audit service. However, there have been concerns that some of those who served the former administration have had their homes raided by police. As I left the press conference hall to be able to file this report in time, an old lady who described herself to me as a staunch opposition supporter warned against what she called victimization of our party members. A much younger supporter stopped me as I left the hall and warned that what is currently going on posed a threat to the peace and stability of the state.
And that was Umaru Fofana in Freetown.
Okay, thank you very much, technical team. So basically, in response to the transition report, this is what the outgoing, government had to say, representation from the outgoing government had to say. Then say that the transition report now nothing short of a witch hunt. Then say the people then way being there inside their young government, when a part of this government, then have been focal people them na the government. Focal we mean say then have been important people then at the government. He say if such criminality gone, he say they want to talk for say all the people then they hand been clean. So waiting make the non-name not appear na the report. He say the only way them for solve this matter is say na by a tribunal. He say but he say even before them begin a tribunal, he say the transition report and the new governments don't even come to conclusion. They don't reach conclusion already. They don't decide waiting for happen, waiting don't happen, woulda do and woulda not do waiting or whatever. He going for say important for making an allegations here so be brought. Make them bring and come before a competent court, before a competent judiciary system. He say because he say really they want tell and say inside that transition report, then 30 government property them where people then buy cheap one or where they acquire or where they get for next to nothing or for nothing. He say they want talk for say people then where they inside the young government now. Where they also get some of them property then they name them, then your name they not appear na the transition report, but na the past government, then your name they no more appear na the past na the transition report. He say who's kind report done they? He say in things say in order for make them beat corruption. He say you need for work fairly. He say you need for be biased. He say but waiting they see unbiased. Sorry, I say you need for be unbiased. He say but waiting then see right now an unbiased behavior. So going on. Waiting we can see is that a commission of inquiry was set up. Now inside this commission of inquiry, so when they set up, then bring 2 expatriate judges them and 1 Sierra Leonean judge for look inside the findings of the transition report. So una all been there, una all watch, all waiting happen, and then cut them there. Some people they follow the commissions of inquiry, tiggy one. Me not ever talk about the commissions of inquiry. And if you don't watch me for the past 3 years or so, I said deliberately, I am not going to speak on it until I see the report. I only speak on the transition report where it come on do, and then I speak on one time in a 2-part series, and that was it. And after that, I never said anything until today, 2.5 years later or 2 years later, where I can't, true to me word, I can't tackle her now. Now, I want to make the technical team show we exactly what happened, because some kuskas been there about the instruments used in the commissions of inquiry. So I want to make a show the Sierra Leone Commission of Inquiry case done one video where the then Attorney General Chris Schwartz was giving an opening statement and defending the instruments as they were set out for this particular commissions of inquiry.
Under Section 48 of the 1991 Constitution, that is transposed in the constitutional instruments verbatim. Let me state that the commissions of inquiry should not and will not wait for the Rules of Court Committee to make rules before it can commence its operations, because short power would be exercised in relation to these specific commissions of inquiry, while the power in the Constitution speaks to the promulgation of rules applying to all commissions. The purpose of Section 150 of the 1991 Constitution, therefore, I submit, is to vest reserved powers and to specify the body that will be responsible for making rules for all commissions of inquiry, should it be deemed necessary. On this reasoning, Your Excellency, we see that several commissions of inquiry have been held under existing legislation in this country between 1967 to date, and we are self-regulating, including the Justice Foster Commission of Inquiry, the several Beckles Davis's Commission of Inquiry, the Leeton Nylander Commissions of Inquiry, Justice Algali and Adolphi and Wilson, and so on and so forth, Commissions of Inquiry. In fact, Your Excellency, more recently, commissions of inquiry have been appointed by constitutional instruments as our constitutional instruments 64, 65, and 67 of 2018, which have provoked so much sensation. The Commission of Inquiry of Justice, the Lord Justice Bankole Thompson, and others, under Constitutional Instrument number 1 of 2009. The Commission of E. Ishas Moses, under Constitutional Instrument number 8 of 2009. Justice Adelisa Showers and all commissions of inquiry, under Constitutional Instrument number 16 of 2010. I challenge anyone to identify one commission of inquiry that was held in this country for which the Rules of Court Committee have made rules. So, Your Excellency, I ask, why did our critics not levy charges against these instruments in 2009 and 2010? Better still, why did our noble Bar Association not take steps to have the Rules of Court Committee, in which they represent as members, frame rules for operations of those instruments? Are those commissions of inquiry invalidated as a result of their inaction? I say emphatically no. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, permit me, sir, to use this platform to observe that it is disingenuous to base any legal arguments in respect of instruments numbers 64, 65, and 67 that purport to
Okay, so fumble them. This na been the bade way happen right after the commissions of inquiry was to be established. Then say the rules of court committee get problem. The constitutional instruments them were also problematic. Now I dey lay a foundation. Like I don't tell you now, this na dear we get for take up. Because we need for understand all thing dear so that everybody can arrive at a conclusion. Madam Selo, the how they call them, the arguments by the former ruling government for say that now witch hunts the initial transition report will lead to the commissions of inquiry. They say now witch hunt because people them in there we serve na the governments key positions them where the name no appear na that paper day. Was the argument justified?
Thank you. If I'm putting when I could even I do because me inside an evening. I don't say some of the morning, some of the afternoon. And thank you, Madam Matilda, for asking this question. I think say like I remember back you say the very beginning of this whole report is that or the whole commission to me is like they'd already found the other parties guilty without even doing any investigation, without there's just a lot of assumption in everything that happened here. That this commission of inquiries was specifically for the party, I mean the outgone party that was in power, and everything was directed to them. Because if other members of this party now, the ruling party, were involved and we're also working together with the past party members, I don't see any reason why they should not be called. I don't see any reason why they should not be invited, to the inquiry, because they are all part of the past government. In fact, I understand the majority of them have been permanent secretaries. So it is a permanent secretary that will get the letters. It is a permanent secretary that will get all the projects. They will be responsible for all the paperwork, for everything before they can even go up to the level of the ministers and other parastatals. So I don't see any reason why the permanent secretaries or members in this party now who are serving were not called. I can say that was a witch hunt because you're just handpicking, you cherry pick people, and that was, I would say yes, that was that was a witch hunt at the beginning of everything. Yes, I think I can give that bonus to say yes, it's true.
Okay, so you are of the opinion that the former ruling government then justify in then claims that say na a witch hunt against them.
Yes. Yes, because they all work together. Like I mean, they talk so now. If anything comes about this particular issue today, you should be called, I should be called, Mamikade should be called, and also Iskandar should be called for asking questions. So we're all part of this. So I believe it's a witch hunt, and that's not right. That was not fair at all.
Okay. Madam Johnson Cole. The opposition current make the claim, and when I say opposition, the former government make the claim that how come the 30 state properties them that were distributed for free or bought at next to nothing, how come some of the people them within at the current administration themselves been get part of them property then they, how come when in the list state-owned property sold for cheap or whatever, how come the name they not appear but not their own name they no more appear? What would you say to that initial setting?
Well, yeah, initially I'm going to be honest here. When it first started, I may not be seeing as witch hunt at all when it first started.
Okay, we they get a little bit of application. We they get
Now go ahead.
Okay, now go ahead. Yes, we're gonna get problem here.
Okay, I said initially when it first started, I'm gonna be honest here, may not be seen as wish on at all, because we all be don't fed up with corruption generally in Sierra Leone. You see, so all we wanted was the fight against corruption. But then when you look at it, actually, to be honest, because since now waiting one person say against the other one, we not be see the video, because at the time actually I'm not being read all the names and everything. And I still been believe say it wasn't witch hunt, they strive for fight corruption. Maybe believe that. Not until toward the end of the fight, where we know they go reach day to day, because as you said, we know they deal with that, then it becomes so obvious now that the BO government, to put the record straight, make it just tell people the way they out there, you see, we sometimes they're not go pleased with what I want to say, but let them understand the situation. At the time, in fact, when BO win this election, me support BO. So they can make it clear. I support BO when he win the election, because now BO be don't win. Now in and pronounce say he win the election. So we support them now for make them try to run the country properly. You get me? But towards the end, I must admit something is wrong somewhere, because it not look as if the BO government is serious about fighting corruption, because it becomes so clear now that they target certain group of people then. Because although they say they target certain group of people, they don't mean say, I don't want to let them fight corruption. Me always say, anyone with thief money, it let you know Lord ho. You thief money, therefore all you for pay that money they back. But before they all you for pay that money they back, therefore do things fairly. They therefore do things fairly, because you know they say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So you know they go, you put one thing one side, you favor one set of people, then you not favor the other sets of people then. So it don't become so clear towards the end now say, they favor certain group of people then they target other certain group of people then. If they target them all together, then that's fine, because it's a fight against corruption. But when I begin to say now one side now they do the thing, and when you look at it, clearly this is a government that I support, but they don't win. You see, then now they come and talk and now say, because when they say a lot of things and where they should say, it's not clear, because that's SF not too clean in everything, because you get plenty things and now what they and all the things we make some of we self now we been support BO after we don't win the election now, we don't get plenty doubts now, you see, because these people themselves, you see, because we they see signs of corruption in this current government we need support. We see signs of corruption. So I'm not going to say because I support President BO after we don't win them, then if in government they do wrong, I'm not going to talk them. I'll go say them. You see, so for now, this is my position. I think to say they target certain people then they left certain people then where they too should have been targeted as well. You see, so this for now, I'm my own position that one day for now.
Okay, so Madam Johnson call your own position. He thinks say the report was strategically targeted towards certain people, and that cannot be fair across the board. If you look at the scope, and you look at the government, and you look at the people that we've been done serving at the government and whatnot. So, Mr. Iskandria, they come to you now. The question way I get for you is, we know for say leading on to the opening of the commissions of inquiry, we don't get boku kuskas about the constitutional instruments and about the rule of courts committee. My question is that going to be a problem down the road when they go one for prosecute some of the alleged accused right now? Because right at the beginning, the parties did not agree to the constitutional instruments even before they begin the commissions of inquiries proper. We can't hear you.
So, here is my position. The commissions of inquiry finished. So that's a moot point as to whether or not they complied with Section 148 of the 1991 Constitution and all these other statutory and constitutional issues. There have been commissions of inquiry in Sierra Leone since I was a little boy. Now, the role of the Commission of Inquiry is investigatory. It's more like the grand jury in the United States.
Okay, I get with me. So
where
you alleged them.
148 of the 1991 Constitution. Hello?
Something is going on in the back. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, I'm trying to put it off. Yeah, sorry, me. Yeah.
The commissions of inquiry are like a grand jury where evidence is brought in and the judge looks at the evidence and comes to some conclusions. My problem with this whole thing, I agree that there is some element of a witch hunt here. But I don't look at it in that whole sense, because having commissions of inquiry, which will ask or seek to obtain evidence as to whether or not there was corruption and graft during the time that any government was in power, is proper. It is the implementation of this commission of inquiry. And this implementation of the commission of inquiry is tribal based. And that's the problem. We can always want to do good things, but when we start for doing good things there and we base them on tribes, you go understand why it not come out right. Anybody within an APC will say this whole idea of a commission of inquiry was a witch hunt, is not being forthright and is not being nationalistic enough. Therefore, address them in parts. The commission of inquiry was a great idea. The people of Sierra Leone need for know what APC do during the term with them in governance. We have a right to know that. The problem with this SLPP party is that they cannot get away from the tribal twist. And it is that tribal twist that is causing members of the APC to say that this is a witch hunt. Let me go a little bit further. Nearly all of the people within an SLPP government now belong to one tribe, at least 95%. Of those people, the ones that worked with APC are in senior positions in this government are probably a high figure, because basically when you look at the political parties in Sierra Leone, now the APC party normally come into governance, then bring all other tribes in. In the SLPP party, no, they do that. That's not the truth. But when you look at that and you see certain people them, like the Minister of Finance, like the Minister of Land, and a few other people them, where they not bring into this thing, it gives you cause for concern. Because most of the people that wouldn't seem to go after the commission, the white papers, as I have read them, have been politicians from the north. And the politicians from the southeast, a few of them, a smattering few of them, have been found not liable for nothing or been found not culpable. That is where the witch hunt comes in.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Iskandi. So according to Mr. Iskandi, he say in belief, say somehow this not a partial witch hunt. He say he not get any problem with the commissions of inquiry or the instrument used or the constitutional instrument to use or rule of court committee. Say because then they now a thing of the past. It has happened. The commissions of inquiry don't take place. Then don't seal them. It don't done. He say now moving forward. He say what's in get problem. He say it's not the implementation of you know, the implementation of the commissions itself, the implementation. He say na dan they get problem with. He say somehow he say he find it difficult for make somebody like the current Minister of Finance and the current Minister of Lands, the name not surface anywhere na the initial transition report, and all throughout the commissions they not ever come for can answer question. He say when you look at them, he say the politicians then way seem to be targeted in this commissions of inquiry. He say they are from the north, they are northerners, so therefore him believes say this, instead of looking at you know, institutions and looking at people who serve, he said he heavily believes say it is being now tribalistic. That is his thought. So now fast forward, I don't lay the groundwork for una who side we come out and who side we there right now. So now I want to make we technical team play for we the Umaru Fofana report on the release of the white paper.
Professor Ernest Bai Koroma. The journalist Umaru Fofana says the findings have shocked even people hardened to stories of corruption.
The long-awaited white papers accompanying the reports of each of 3 independent commissions of inquiry were released at State House amid the deployment of riot police in some strategic places in Freetown. The government upheld most of the commission's recommendations, among them the forfeiture to the state of dozens of houses and mansions belonging to the former President Ernest Bai Koroma and many of those who served in his administration. They are to also pay back within 3 months monies allegedly swindled from the state amounting to hundreds of millions of dollars, according to the Deputy Justice Minister Umaru Napoleon Koroma. But the white papers rejected recommendations to bar some of the people from holding public office. President Julius Maada Bio said corruption had deprived many generations and it was time to deal with it.
Our only option is to confront corruption head on and fight it boldly and resolutely. It is a fight we must fight. It is a fight we must win, because it is a fight for the very soul of our nation. When one is appointed to serve one's country, one must also do so honestly, fairly, and with justice and diligence. Do not make Sierra Leoneans, especially the children, youth, and women, victims of your greed.
He warned those currently serving in his administration to behave themselves and steer clear of corruption. He vowed that all the things listed in the white papers would be implemented in full before warning anyone wishing to foment trouble.
Those who may wish to incite or engage in unrest and violence in order to obstruct the process of implementing the full enforcement of the recommendations will be subject to the full force of the law.
The main opposition APC party, whose administration was the subject of the inquiry, has not yet made a formal reaction. They referred me to lawyer Adi Macaulay, who represented some of the persons of interest at the commission.
We have seen sensational conclusions in the white paper, and when it comes to, for example, the former President Ernest Bai Koroma, and we know that one of the houses which the white paper recommended to be confiscated to the state is one that he had built before taking office.
The accusation is that he had actually brought down that building and it was a freshly built structure when he was president.
That cannot be far from the truth. But as you know, before becoming president, he was a man of enormous means. He had interest in insurance and other businesses in Sierra Leone.
Will those who've been found wanting oblige themselves to meet the recommendations, or will they not?
Our premise is that the commission that arrived at that particular report does not have the functional competence. And if that is the case, it follows that whatever it produces or comes out of it will not be recognized by us.
Macaulay said they would go before the courts of appeal to challenge the recommendations in the white papers. Civil society has favorably reacted to today's developments. Ibrahim Tommy heads the Center for Accountability and Rule of Law.
We welcome it, and as the president himself said, we hope that this is not just a lesson or a message for members of the previous administration, but also those who are in governance now.
Are you surprised at the scale of what the report says happened?
I mean, it is shocking and, to be honest, surprising in some cases. But we are all here. We knew that some things were going wrong, terribly wrong.
But even in the face of what reads like a who is who in the alleged corruption league, have come some people who've been exonerated. One person who was singled out for praise was the country's former finance minister, Mamadou Kagbo. That should come as no surprise to anyone who's been following public service in this country in the last 10 years.
And that's Umaru Fofana reporting there from Freetown.
Okay, so then at the report by Umaru Fofana, like I said, today na dear. Now I want to play the reaction of the current Attorney General.
If you read the report, you find out that there are serving officers in this government whose names appeared there. They were investigated. So it was not only confined to, for example, one political party operatives, but all those who served in the previous government. And you will recall that there are some people in this administration who served in the previous government. So you cannot say it's a witch hunt.
Public accountability is a cornerstone for a democratic system, and we need to hold our leaders accountable, and not only for financial accountability, but leadership accountability. We have been politicizing every facet of our conversation linking to national development.
When you are corrupt, when you are in a position of authority and you are corrupt, you will not go scotch-free. The investigation will always catch up with you. That is the lesson everybody should learn from this investigation.
All persons who were summoned to the commissions of inquiry, we are not summoned because of their ethnic group, their religion, or their political party. They were summoned because they had been entrusted with the supreme responsibility to serve Sierra Leone. So these commissions of inquiry should also serve as a strong warning to serving officials that you have a duty of care to make the best decisions and act always in the best interest of citizens of this country and of the nation. Those who may wish to incite or engage in unrest and violence in order to obstruct the process of implementing the full enforcement of the recommendations will be subject to the full force of the law.
I will also ask the technical team, make it play the audio that follows.
It states that here the government notes that the legitimate income of the former president between the period of November 2007 and April 2018 was found to be thus: salaries 2,740,439,563,000. NASIT pension is 213 billion. Yes. 908 million. Income from investment is 1 trillion. 125. In total, the total income of the president is amount of 4 trillion. And the report is saying that the mathematical calculations show that the value of assets he acquired during his tenure as president far exceeds his total emolument and legitimate earning. For instance, the total value of his property at Femi Turner Drive amounts to $5 million, equivalent to 40 43, is a 40 billion. 40
I know we are not good at figures.
Yes, 40 billion millions. And the property registered in the office of the Administration General, this is the one at Bluebell. It states the property registered in the office of the Administrator and Registrar General as number 1253 2014 at page 103 in volume 729 conveyed by the Ministry of Works, Housing and Infrastructure and Zone G limited to Mohammed Kuruma on the 30th May 2014 situate line and being at off Spur Road, Bluebell Drive, Freetown, be confiscated to the state as ownless property, bona vacantia. That property situate line and being at Bambaila East Station, Freetown, suspected to be owned by the former president, Dr. Ernest Baikoma, but in respect of which he denied ownership, be confiscated and forfeited to the state on the grounds that it is bona vacantia, that is ownerless property. That property situate line and being at Potloko district in northern province of Sierra Leone be confiscated and forfeited to the state on the grounds that it is bona vacantia, that is, it is ownless property. That property situate at number 6 and 8 Femitona Drive, Godrich, that is the present resident of President Kuma, in the western area of Sierra Leone, in the name of Dr. Ernest Baikoma, registered on the 12th May 2016 at page 144 on volume 67 in the books of voluntary conveyance kept in the office of the Administrator and Registrar General be confiscated and forfeited to on the grounds that they were purchased during the former president's tenure of office. He failed to disclose them in his asset declaration, and the structures are worth thousands of dollars without any explanation, proffered for short unexplained or extraordinary wealth, evidencing incommensurability and disproportionality between the former president's assets and official emolument. That property situates, that is where he's staying at Bombali District, Makeni, at Robure, Makeni, Bombali District in northern province of Sierra Leone, belonging to Dr. Ernest Baikoma, be confiscated and forfeited to the state on the grounds that the property evidence is compelling in the commensurability between the standard of life of the former president and his official emolument during the period under review. The disproportionality between the former president's ownership and his own official emolument. Failure on the part of the president to disclose the said property in his exit declaration of assets, contrary to of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008, and failure to explain short extraordinary wealth that predicated on the prima facie evidence proffered before the commission, there was some questionable financial relationship between the former president and a Chinese company known as Xingling Mining Sierra Leone Limited, bearing some nexus to the property at Robure in Makeni, which in the commission's view may justify investigation by the cabinet. It's so recommended. So these are the recommendations against former President Kuma. One of short take, I don't know if another judge was.
How you represented the former president?
Okay, we fumble them. Una don't yeri. So I don't take una to Usai with this so right now. Una don't yeri big alejo number them. And the reason that they make us say, today not to the day, for make we sit down, they talk about waiting then at the report. For make we really talk about them reports there, so we need for dedicate time to each and every kotos. Waiting each and every kotos judge or justice or whoever sit down at the bench say and recommend. So we go peel them. Waiting we see say okay. Waiting we not see say okay. Remember, say this now white paper report then give we a summation. I mean say a summary of waiting the actual report say. They not give we blow by blow like how Biokukam put that bagbala heavy thing at the presidency and not trying them take give you. No. Then pull, shink, analyze, shink. Say they say, okay, this now we they show to the public. Now I don't want to go inside the numbers the way we don't hear it. I just want to go and even the president's statement because they can read some parts of it as we they go along and give we panelists the time for analyze waiting the president say even as we get for can open the phone line and you're waiting viewers then get for say as well. I just want to ask the panelists them, based on waiting una don hear so far, the summation of Umaru Fofana, in there the reaction of Adi Macaulay, one of the defense counsel of the former president. In there the civil society reaction. In there the current attorney general's reaction. What are your take? Make us start with Madam Kadi.
Can I say something?
Yes.
You can start with someone else. Maybe start with somebody else. Start with someone else, please.
Okay.
We talk afterwards. Yeah, because I started the first one, so let's rotate it.
Meeting Abby for him. Meeting Abby for
No, not Abby, but I just don't want to be the first to be saying things. At least
fine. That's fine. Make I go to Mr. Eskangi. Mr. Eskangi, what's your take?
So, listen to Adi Macaulay, a very erudite lawyer. Like I said before, a commission of inquiry is an investigative body. In order for the commission not get any right for sentence people to jail or make recommendations, in a real legal system, and which is one of the reasons why I was opposed to the commissions of inquiry, it's as a waste of time and a waste of money and a waste of resources. If una believe, say, them people they are thief money, it's simple. I've been a trial lawyer for over a quarter century. Yeah. First, you get an investigation into their assets. You request their documents. Then, if you find there's something culpable, you file an action, a criminal action against them, prosecute them. There are sanctions for that. You see. One of the good things about this commission of inquiry, though, is that it will make the people that waiting at this present government realize and understand, say, hey, one time we will come out in power. A won't come out in power, but the same way they go treat una. And I hope say they understand that. And I hope say they understand that very well. I listened to somebody talk about people being bad for a period of time, 10 years, from being involved in politics. Listen, the law should be, if somebody thieved government money while he was in government, it should be barred from holding public office for the rest of his life. Period. If the people of Sierra Leone give you some sort of a fiduciary control over the resources, you understand, they should be barred for life. As a matter of fact, according to late President Jankaba, this President Bio been involved in some money issues where beaucoup money lost now when he was with NPRC. And if we had had that law that says he should be barred for life, I can tell you he would not have been president today. And also, Tijankaba would not have been president if he had been barred for life. See, we have to make corruption unpalatable. That means when you think for thief money and you understand the punishment where you go get, you understand, you go phrase for thiefer. You understand? Here's the problem with Salone. We are more reactive than proactive. One of the things that we think go end corruption, now for the appointment of the office of the anti-corruption commissioner, not get for report to the president. Because it is highly likely that most people who are presidents in Sierra Leone, in Africa, they can do whatever they can, and they appoint people them to anti-corruption commission where they can able control. You understand? Because if the president not able to control the anti-corruption commissioner, then the anti-corruption commissioner get a freehold for doing work. Some of these things are not corruption related. Some of these things can be prosecuted by the Office of the Attorney General. But of course, that office also is pretty incompetent. I don't see how they operate. Pretty incompetent. Now, my position is this. It's always been this. There's checks and balances. You know which typos in non-bill full story Garrett's house? The way come on a power now you say you can't pull an iron. The way they build the house. Now you for ask and that question say, well, outside the police money where they bill us so. If you not get a complete answer, that was still not a bill. You understand? We need for make sure say every government official, if they transfer money from Salone to overseas, that government official they must report the amount of money where they transfer, the bank account where they transfer into, and the purpose for which they transfer. Government officials must always have their accounts be monitored by an independent body within the government for their personal accounts audited. So if they pay you 1 million Leone for month, and this month you go put 200 million Leone day, you get for our account for 199 million Leones. You see what I'm saying? We don't have those checks and balances. We go make sure say people they not do this. Let me tell you something. The Chinese come to Sierra Leone and they engage in corrupt acts with our leadership. Do you know what the punishment for corruption in China is? It's a bullet to the back of your head. One bullet to the back of your head. I'm not saying we do that, but I'm saying if we want to end corruption, we want to make it such that the price of corruption is too much to bear. When you get permanent secretary, you get minister, we went and catch you with corruption, they convict you of corruption. You the way yellow or red, the sign at the back they say prisoner, you then treat you, they sweep and clean. When someone see that man will be there up yonder high and mighty, now they clean streets. Or something and can't go na recre na stadium, then give them 3 doors in flag. That happens in certain countries in the world. That's why some of these crimes don't occur in those countries. You understand? The punishment must be so harsh if you tip the people the money, because that money they go on the thief, where then the thief so, the money where they make, they don't get oxygen in the hospital, the money where they make, they not able to pay nurses them better, the money where they make, they not able to pay policeman, soldier man, and people that were in the government, where they work for the government. And these things are wrong. And the people that where they thief their money there, now the people that where they get the highest pay at the government. So it's greed. You for make sure say you stop that. And now you go stop that, make the laws then such that before person commit corruption, you say, you see what I do so and so, you are not letting do unto me. Because you know what is Salone afraid? Now shame.
Okay, thank you very much, Lawyer Iskandre. Now make I go to Madam Martha. Madam Martha, waiting that you take so far of all waiting you don't hear. Again, we are not touching on the details of the report itself. We're just touching on what we've had so far.
Well, first of all, I would really want to say thanks to the Attorney General. We mentioned say some of the names that we be expected and not call them, although we not see them yet, but that's what he said. Because just like what he said, what we don't hear it so far. I heard him say that. So if that's what happened, then that's good. And also, I go on for touch on the base of the inquiry itself, where Lekapa Iskandre they talk for really discourage people then for getting to this corruption. We don't go wait till they don't be like, it don't be in 4-story, 5-story house. We go decide now with the pull on my hand. We for don't do that before even it reach to that point. We for don't find a way we will make say people will get a separate body the way for the always the check on leaders in our country. If you forget a ACC person from the president, already it don't bias from that side because this person are the president in person. I don't appoint. I just like if you give me job, I'm here to satisfy you. I know we'll try to do something against you. I'm always going to be working for you so that you will continue to give me the job. So if we want to forget ACC boss, that person will be somebody neutral, not to somebody where they can't know they politicize, where they show. We don't see Ben Kafala several times in a day on protests. That's why APC been there in power. Ben Kafala don't lead protest them. So automatically we know he's SLPP. So for like be ACC boss, that it get for the bias. So they make all the one that like the JJ Safaden, the financial minister, the housing minister, they will be there in the other government before the previous government. They were never mentioned. We've not had anything about them unless where the Attorney General don't mention, say they were called, they are also in the report. And people that like that for be totally banned. So for yesterday, I think I listened to one of the report the way the information minister, before they talk about the white people say they can't come out, they don't go talk, say automatically, they say those people are not going to be banned from their political careers. Then the president is say open mouth for talk, say they don't go jail nobody. He does not have a prison for those people. So why are you doing all of this? This is only a waste of time. It is a waste of resources for everybody in the country. And the worst thing is that the poor man, me and you, now we continue for suffer. There's nothing where the poor man will benefit from all of this nonsense that is going on. Because don't get me wrong, the Commission of Inquiry is an excellent idea. If only they don't really do unto the way that we're going to be beneficial for everybody. But the poor man where they don't river, Fakaya, waiting at the benefit they get for this Commission of Inquiry. Besides now they continue for suffer. All the money they also they show billions of dollars where the past government don't use, where they don't take for themselves. Put on at their pockets. They and their family no more they benefit. They and their family no more they enjoy. What in the poor man, the common man, me and you as Sierra Leoneans, waiting at the benefit they get from this. This is not the problem. So we know they against the Commission of Inquiry. We are 159% for the Commission of Inquiry. But the way we don't be, it's just a waste of time. It's just pure nonsense. Because for me, and I say as anything, we're really beneficial to the layman, where we're supposed for the work for here. They are just doing it on their own. And the president, if I make other mention, say, and this could be the last Commission of Inquiry. No, sir. This is not going to be the last Commission of Inquiry. Even before, we're not just 2 years old, we don't hear about everything we don't do. So we are waiting for you to stand on that pulpit, then answer some questions. And you are definitely going to answer questions. So let not tell me say this is not the last Commission of Inquiry. No, it's not. It's going to continue.
We'll get to his statement. We will get to his statement, I promise you, because a part of the lane of the land right now. Remember, today is the lane of the land. Make I go to Madam Johnson Cole, but even before I go to Madam Johnson Cole, the phone lines are open for make people then call. Everybody where they call today get 1 minute. 1 minute for lay your points. There isn't. We know they go into the reports. We are going into they do the lay of the land. Okay, so if you want call and they call regarding the lay of the land, all the exhibits they don't show today, please not call because you go to waste me time and they waste other people in time. Make we do things according to the rules. Okay, so if you call based on the lay of the land, then that is fine. Every caller gets 1 minute today, not more than 1 minute. Again, the phone lines are open. 1 minute to each caller. And they go over to Madam Johnson Cole. Same question. Okay, your initial,
Yeah. So this whole thing is the officials say where they accuse say take money and all things, and they just like maybe it's just a repetition. You see, but as far as me concerned, yes, if you take money, they investigate you the right way. That is only fair for them to ask you say for put her back. But waiting I get problem with here is where then they go after people then properties, they fail for well, I cannot say they fail to because there's a possibility that it was done, but we don't know. You understand? Because properties they get revaluation values. You understand? You see, so sometimes the properties, the time where them build them properties and it not cost as much as what it costs today. And I want to think that then based on properties, then they based on the cost of the time it was investigated. When the COI the investigator, you see, so the money that people use for building the houses may not have been as much as waiting and they say now. You see, so then for the president, whom I have supported, because I repeat them for let people they not go feel to say I can't yasu for can talk on behalf of APC. Now that make I repeat them. The president in the matter do you know say I support him from the day when they say he don't become president he win, we say when he win. Let we support him like we an Escoma being win, they support an Escoma. You get me? You see, so if this president Yasu, they say for can seize them people there, then property them. But it nice make them do them properly and fairly. But it's not fair at all. And this money where then they say certain people then get. Mind you, then be entitled to per diem. They not tell we if them figures then they include per diem or not. Because the per diem where them they give them, they're supposed to exclude them because not the money where they thief. You get me? Oh, yes. You see, so therefore take that into consideration as well. You see, because when you look at the whole thing, the amount it's you say no go in terms of figures anyway, but just just an overview.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just an overview. You get me? Because it's just an insignificant figure in terms of waiting and they say and thief. It's very significant in terms of the money we lost at the country, but in terms of waiting and they say, we consider say these governments then are power for 10 years. If this government then has power for 10 years, they say this president makes that sort of money, maybe something like I think we don't know wait I get now. So maybe if he cancel, maybe something like 90-something million was stolen. You see, and if they exclude Sierra Woodtile money, maybe they you get me. You see, so it's as if this government was fighting for a very meager sum in terms of waiting and say and thief compared to waiting we country don't lose. You see what I mean? You see, so as waiting me they try for saying that yeah, so is this. You get me? But president, we are support when it go in your per diem was it like I don't remember if not like $2 million or something in one day. The followers that people the way they watch you now, excuse me if I get the figures wrong because we were told that we are not going to deal with that. So I just try not to able to remember everything. But they do and specifically I will come with figures and all that. You get me? You see, but if they say that we present already they take plenty money per diem, you understand? Within the game with current president, you get me? And with current president, in SESF na in the say, President Bio way a support. Now you SESF come and say, we're not maybe not you, but you be support, people them around you wanted your money, expenses, and all those things not to be checked. You understand? You see, so the country protest against that. They say because you can't just use the money, city fat and nobody they ask, you can't report. You see, if the country not being raised their voices, including all of us, that could have gone through. That's how they go, you use money, you can. These are all the things where they say if we want to manage corruption. These are the sort of things for where we for manage. And as my brother say, the way how we for manage corruption, we get for make the SEC boss independent, something like that. I truly go along with them. But not just that, you see, not just that, they get for totally cut out politicians and for join into some of the areas they are so. Because if we look where we're there at the Western world, UK, for example, Usade, some of these things, you find out, say, you get committees them, people the way that they choose you, will not get nothing for do with policy, not to policies they interfere. You see, like where is it things like the place, force, and other side them, you see, not to say now this president or the queen they can't say now this person I want, you see, but in real case now, the problem is Sierra Leone, our presidents, they are just too powerful. That constitution in particular has to be changed. But then again, you see, the APC, now the actions they set and so now. Because when that man, they don't make that constitution, waiting in him, the last man will die. If they don't pass them, maybe sometimes we for avoid all the things here, you see. But they're not pass them. So the constitution has to be drawn again properly when they cut out the presidents when I get for say this, the ED. You understand it? No, the president let in the day, but not to get for they say other pick. Because if you don't pick Ben Kalfala, obviously, me now I possibly admire Ben Kalfala where he's just starting job. You understand? But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not admire him anymore. You understand? Because I don't see and see from the day where that 1.5 million scandal come out for chief minister, the way Ben Kalfala deal with them, I wasn't particularly impressed. You understand? You see, because if scandal come out, you just grab no more, you phone the people then. It's like you give them insight for letting know waiting for do. Because if you not be the try for cover up anything, I'm not saying chief minister take money or anything. I'm not saying that, you see. But if that's in the come out, then the man when I in talk the word, then punish him in hiding. Then chief minister not able to rebut and take it. Instead of Francis Kalfala can rebut and for him. Not Francis Kalfala not to be in place for do that rebuttal day. Because for do that rebuttal day. Chief minister says for become a rebuttal and make a statement and all that thing. You see, but it not make him. So for the life of me, and this is very chief minister now, then all they say racketeering and all those things. And they see and some of these things happening now the government. You understand? They don't say nothing. Rice laws, they don't say nothing. You get me? Everything and just they cover things. And people like us, that is why I said I don't want job na Salone. You see, I can take up any job na Salone, but I don't want job na Salone. Me they spend money na Salone. I not get nothing what they get from Salone. And the reason why I took that decision because I want to be open. I want for able for say what I want say without no obligation to nobody. Like where I choose say the win a supporter. Now so I want for able if they make mistakes and all that today, I correct them back. You get me? So I'm not a support no side, but it's very very wrong for let themselves come as Aliyu. Mention back say, I know if I'm you or somebody else or my sister, whether they talk say, they not recommend. Then government they say, well, okay, we'll not go do this, you understand? We'll not go look nobody. They are only interested in the money, not the money no more we want. We all been they say that, not the money we want. You get me? But what are you doing to curb corruption? Not the money no more not interested in. And this money, we don't know how they get for spend them. Because this money they go back in their hand, we don't know how they spend them. You get me? So this now one cause for concern as well, where we get for look into, you understand it? When we particularly don't talk and say, people then get for look into that. Because if they can't pay all this money, how do they do it? Because all that money will come on at the international world, you understand it? We not get proper accountability for all that money then they. You see, I cannot just go and continue to support President Bio when I see say things are going wrong, you understand? I have nothing to gain, I have nothing to lose, you understand, or gain personally, but the people of Sierra Leone get a lot for people that they suffer. I know how much money comes from me every month, you understand, to go to Sierra Leone. And people like us don't want to be spending all those money again. You get people that now we not spend money in a salon, you see, but we spend. You get me? We get people that they support. We get people that when we adopt. We get people that when they do a lot of things. So if we not do and they're not able to do and they depend on us. So people like us will not sit and see. You understand? Institutions being nepotism. Now they all side because I see one video we come out where the president were at the support. So inform with them. Now they take all the key position then. Then we see another family back again at the SLPP where they all get so key position then. Why? Let me assume say the APC didn't do that. If APC did do that, say that is why we have a new government now for can change them. You see, not because APC did do and SF they can do them, therefore change them. You get me? But they are still doing the same thing. You get me? You see, so I don't know. You see, I don't know. I really.
We will get down to the nitty-gritties of it.
Yes, you see.
We'll get down. I promise people we go look at each report by report. Now make I go to the callers.
But let me just finish now and round up. Say, I support the fight against corruption. I support them. I don't want to let people then feel to say I not support the fight against corruption. I support them 100%, but then therefore do them justly. Let some people not feel to say, you see, then they victimize them in a way for whatever reasons they are being victimized. That is not on. Because if the same thing happened to be in government, some of us will come out again and fight for them people then they. You understand? That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you. Make I go to the callers then. They've been patiently waiting. Let me give them their due time. So I'll go open the phone line for a few minutes, take some few calls, and then we will see how far we go get into the statement of the president. It is important that we read the statement of the president before even we get to the reports themselves, okay? So we get a clear understanding. So I'll go to the phone line now. Caller, what's your name and call from?
No, concern number 11 from Toronto.
Okay.
My take on this is this, right? Shame on SLPP.
Yes,
why they accuse the APC where are not let say Ebola gate, road gate, mudslide gate, but drug saga 700 million. Everything they accuse the APC of $94 million now that they can't give me na slap na face. Imagine for 10 years, $9 million, $74 million, divide them. It's like $7.4 million for the Anas Komai vice president, former Samsumana, the MPs them, the ministers them, the deputy ministers them, the councillors them. It's a shame. Not all this we will expect. The commission of inquiry now waste of time. And what's in pain me more? Mara Biofil say it the last power forever. We go talk say this is the last commission of inquiry. This we great Grand Kingdom go continue this commission of inquiry. I swear to me, Mama and God, if they continue, because Salone for better now, for up to how many decades? 6 decades almost. We did pandemic kind thing there. And the way they do this commission of inquiry, we get people now they go meet Ben Kalfala. They say, okay, we can't give small thing, we can't hand over to you. And now they announce how much they choose, how much they can pay back. Is that fair on the masses then? We get people in a Pademba road right now. What if cell phone? Or what if Vinto bottle? Where they Pademba road for 10 years, how many years? But the politicians they only achieve billions, then they support them.
Okay.
But right now, I just no one talk because I won't begin lost my temper at the end and so.
Okay, thank you.
Salone sir.
Okay, thank you, caller. I really don't want to make any call go over 2 minutes, and this call don't go a little over 2 minutes, and 1 minute I give people them plus Bonyana. Reason why make I say each call na 1 minute. Then me go decide who's they cut the person in Bonya. So I go take the next call. Caller, waiting on your name and who's the call for.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Matilda. Matilda, congratulations, because you gather all the panelists there. You gather them for discredit the commission of inquiry. Because even the topic you invite them for talk about, none of them address it. All of them are, there's a story that they tell you about how this government corrupts. Everybody knows that this government corrupts. But let's wait until the time wherein we will bring them. But let's talk about this commission of inquiry which went on. I hear you say you the doctor with on the panel, they talk about the present minister of finance. Can you guys tell me JJ Safa, whose position he had inside APC, it should be investigated for? Can you guys tell me that? And when I talk about Sandy came to the Commission of Inquiry. Now, one of the few ministers he attended, Victor Ford. Victor Ford was the vice president. He came to the Commission of Inquiry. He came, and he was represented by Indo Gebal, Lawyer Gebal. And that's why they opened Commission of Inquiry for almost a year plus. They say if we not get evidence against people, we not prosecute these people. But all what I heard, you and the lawyer and the panelists talking about, when they talk about a particular tribe, which I believe is the Malay tribe, that you guys hate so much, well, I believe in you guys. Always okay,
thank you very much, caller. I think I get your point loud and clear, and I go address your statement absolutely, not now, but in my closing. I go to the next caller. Caller, waiting on your name and who say you call from.
Yeah, so I tell them about say I don't know, you say for every
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, caller. Waiting on your name and who say you call from.
My name is James. I call from Virginia.
Okay, wait till you get for we this evening.
Okay, I've been listening from Dr. What's her name? That's where I met. And yes, hello?
Yes, go ahead, caller. Go ahead. Good day,
hold on. My name is James. I call from Virginia.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I come in. The program may not go far, but you panel them. Something the way they talk really baffle me. Okay, something the way they talk really baffle me, because for almost 6 decades, this is the first ever attempt for try for corruption in the country. I believe say President Bio supposed to get praise. I mean, I come on na the West, I go Salone, I can look the place, I say, what do we get the people who we call government workers? What did they do? What did they work? Because I left Salone, before you meet, they go better, they go bien. So, when people then begin to talk about, like that, the lady from England, say, the proper way them for do they don't for employ somebody nobody don't know if Kelfala na SLPP. Nobody don't know. We don't know. And even if na SLPP, it's gonna be somebody. No committee, no the way they go make. Now governments get for make them committee then they for say for stop them kind of thing. Imagine.
Okay. I go to the next call and then I come back to my panelists. Them caller waiting on your name and who say you call from.
Hello. I wonder the call from New Jersey.
Okay, your voice really low. We know the hear you. You need for HU voice up.
I the call from New Jersey.
Okay.
Yes. First of all, I want to tell the panelists and thank you for this topic tonight. And first, I want to start by just making my own contribution. We see that the APC employees.
We can't hear this caller.
Yeah, we know they hear you. Your voice really low. You can mind for can't close to the phone.
Sorry, we see that APC employ a lot of Northerners then. So therefore, we not expect anybody from anyone that are doing the commission of inquiry, not only the people from the north, because now they be employed. So secondly, I want me to challenge anybody that this commission of inquiry not going to serve as any deterrent to this present administration, because it just give them more sense out there for the thief and out there for hiding thief. This na Salomon habit, and we don't use that for Duam. We don't hold we able to pass the other side and where the corruption people could do in the police force, they count the traffic code in them. We see how they do. They go put market man them behind the gate. We post in Canada, they go left the money before you can meet them. So they get all kinds of tactics. This commission of anybody will go talk say it go serve as deterrent for the present administration. I'm going to say now a big no. It will give them more sense for how they for thief and hide them now. That's what it's Monday. Then we also talk about the ironing of SLPP then the fight for corruption. It's so laughable because let me look at the Nisandi, everybody be going the Nisandi be the part of the administration for APC. With all the corrupt, they name this guy. They not relieve them from a job. They not suspend them. It's a part of the administration from day one up to today. But
okay, thank you very much, caller. So I want to see how many calls then we still get not accused. And then I want to make a quick executive decision. If the technical team can just tell me how many calls then we get not accused, I just want to make a quick executive decision. Okay, I'll take the last 5 calls. Okay, I'll take the last 5 calls. So make we go to the call then again. Caller, what's your name and also the call from? Hello, caller.
Hello, caller. Yes. Good evening, Ms. Matilda, including all the panelists. I tell you, plenty thank you, and I call from Kansas City. Million take tonight here is corruption, the equivalent of cancer in our country. But what I don't understand and what I don't see, the institutions are very weak. No systems are not in place for make corruption proof. The people are not able to treat government money. I mean, we not for even get court case. Looking at them people there where them begin their career, them place there. Look at them delay. Look at them be now. So every union they leave? No. So me they in favor of the fight. But let the fight be done fairly so everybody will get a own day. And I feel say, just like what Professor Lumumba will say, if this person now you don't hitman, you want to protect them, whether you the benefit, you know the benefit, it no matter. So let we all look Salone and get Salone at heart and look the suffering where we all they suffer. If you want whether the diaspora will they suffer. Because all the people they know where they Salone, if now we people them, we they care for them. So if we they care for them, we they suffer. Because we don't take care of themselves now, we help them. So let we all come on deck for first mistake. But let the fight be fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll go to the next caller waiting on your name and also you the call from.
Yeah, Lawrence Folks from London.
Okay, go ahead.
Salone, we're not just technically jokers, man. We're jokers. We're playing. Guys, when that country is now like they're in the brink of war. Go you crash, and if you're not taking a war, go just fall only. None matter people can begin to ABCDE. Matter is worse. Because the system not clean, now make you see nobody for do the checks and balances. The Commission of Inquiry does not have the power of a court. If you not say them corrupt, you arrange them before a judge. That's an argument, not this. Carry them before a judge. The judge, look at the one when they say that the value. Whose host now salary cost $5 million? I mean, let's just be sincere. Whose host will cost $9 million? Private host. They are jokers, man. They are comedians. Look at the shipwrecks. Look at them, 15 count charges. What are you talking about, man? Therefore, they make a fool of themselves, man. And then BO is talking about illegality here. They enforce the laws, law we enforce. The Commission of Inquiry is not a law. They don't make a law. you don't get power for enforce. So if you answer they enforce, like they talk about fighting a Salone, now they talk about it. Now don't call them by their proper name. That white paper they are just rubbish. Bunches of waste of resources, waste of focus. That's why because you don't call. Now we need to never forget. They forget about the past administration. Picking them.
All right. I go to the next caller. Caller, waiting at your name and who shall you the call from?
My name is Abubakar, call from New York.
Okay, what do you get for we this evening?
My own take is based on the finding of the commission, my own opinion and which I think see everything alive we forget starting point. And then we forget people some people they been done in a certain situation, but God can change them and turn around and then they want to take the right path. So me feel say even President B.O.B. don't corrupt the country. I just feel say if he don't establish a baseline, I just feel say we all for welcome this news. It's a great news for the country. Not only for this administration, but for the country in general, because President B.O. not get for the power forever. And President B.O. no foresee himself when they left power, people then get for Cambianam. If not change of government, people then get for investigator. So I feel saying that these people have been afraid all along because they know for say when you investigate somebody, you prosecute them, you back where left na power, somebody come, you just get for follow the due process again and prosecute you as well if you go wrong with anything we get for do with public funds. So that man they not fool, that man they aware, he know for say that office they not forever. So if you get the bold mind for
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Caller, I go to the next caller. Caller, waiting at your name and also you the call from.
Mina Zainab, I call from Canada.
Sorry, I can't. We're not hearing you at all.
Okay, Mina Zainab, I call from Canada.
Okay. Hi, Zainab. What you get?
Yeah, I want to give a small contribution to this program, and I'm glad for this program that we come up with. At least we're able to get the facts of what's in the happen at home.
Can you raise your voice small, Madam Zainab? We're not hearing you.
Sorry. My own contribution on this program, the present government, I wonder if President Biodi think first what he do, because whatever you do, you get to think what get to happen to you safe when you come out in power. And besides, this not a priority for make this commissioner of inquiry. It's like the country is facing a lot of things where they need for handle, where they need for fix, where not to forgo after them people in there. 2 years na power and you're not able to do nothing, then just they be in party upon party, they go against people and they create enmity. And we people and say, come back for only the jump fire. When you do anything, you get for think of them. You get picking them, you get family. What you do? What in the action when you self don't come on power? What will happen to your family and to you picking them? Whatever they do right now as a president, if you try for do something, we will be beneficiary to everybody, and we will make him picking them tomorrow with a great grand picking them, then can negotiate this. Now we want people do, or now we want papa they left for it. You see, it's very, very sad for you all these things that happen at Salone. That's my own contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. So this call where they can't take so go be the last call for tonight. Could be the last call for tonight where they take. Caller, waiting at your name and also you the call for.
Hello.
Yes, caller, waiting at your name and also you the call for.
Good evening. This is Prophet Pasheki calling from Bethesda, Maryland. I'm a senior executive member, APC, and also aspirant flag bearer for the APC party for the 2023 presidential elections. I want to say that I'm disappointed in many of the panelists them today, and many of the viewers as well, the comment within the comment. You know, I speak first from a religious perspective because the first thing make me now God before anything else. And I also know that some of you on the panel, you are people who claim to be tethered to God with all due respect. I've followed some of you for a while now, and I respect all of you there. and many of the commentators as well. But in all this discourse, in all the confabulation, I have never heard anybody in our talk say, what does God say about this thing? How unrighteous are these behaviors? How you go take an unrepentant criminal of Bio and Co. for can punish people them? I think say, if Mother Bio betrayed God, it was indeed a Catholic. If he resign as president, make somebody will get no stain inside power to become president, make them carry out the commission of inquiry, not him. But another area, a single iota of about God, how can God think about all this in all these discourses? I'm hearing philosophy and law and all these things. This is my comment. I'm gonna come back to God. Make una acknowledge God in all our ways, and He will direct our paths. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. This now a final call for tonight. I dey go back to the panelists them, and I go give the panelists them 2 minutes each for make them address the statements of the callers them. I will give the panelists them 2 minutes each for make them address the statements of the callers them. I will start with Madam Salone. Madam Salone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Matilda. I think I will start with the last caller away na Pasheki. Pasheki, they do. We hear your message. Well, then at this panel as a social worker. So as a social worker, I'm sorry to say, but we know they push God business, but we job the way they do. I'm sorry to say, I'm a Christian. I may not be perfect, but why they do this job, I know because some people they not believe in God, everybody get their own different things so they believe in, so we know they push God business. Of course, you get right to what you say, but that we know they do it that way they. So sorry about that. But the other side, when we want for go, like somebody else be they talk for say, it disappointed at all of us. Unfortunately, sometimes the person not been listened to will begin. And Madam Matilda talks, we they do a certain section of this white paper in the Commission of Inquiry. We know they do everything together. I think you want to read more, but what we come for today a specific topic of this discussion, and I know we'll deal with. We went straight to the point, and that's what we handle. And also, I hear another person they talk for say, waiting President Bio they do another thing but tomorrow. I agree with you, my sister. I also feel that way for say this do me do you get for continue because when APC second power, they go do waiting Mother Bio don't do. They go can revenge, they go can turn back, they go can for fight each other. And that's why some of us, when a young one, the way they grab into politics, who feel say these two parties they forgot to let the rest. Because seriously, thank you. Seriously, what you all Mother Bio don't do, if the APC can have power, then they go do them back to Mother Bio group. So this is just the honest truth. If we not stop what's they happen now, Salone will go before. Unfortunately, of everything where they happen, what is the layman, the common man, and the fakaya, they benefit from all of this? All this where they go on, all this bokumonyo that they call, what is the layman benefiting from this? This for me not just a waste of time, a waste of resources, and a waste of everybody in your own precious time. You know, get nothing for do for Sierra Leoneans. The poor man, they benefits nothing, and will still they continue for suffer. So
all right.
For now.
Much, Madam Salone. I will go over to Madam Johnson Cole. 2 minutes. Waiting at you on the callers. Them anything where you want to say.
Yeah. First of all, make a correct that caller we been come and talk say me say Francis Kafala na Mendy. In fact, now I mention Mendy. I not ever mention any tribe from Makam. What I say is the president for avoid the situation where now the president now they pick the ACC boss because obviously that ACC boss go feel obliged for go along with anything the president say because na ain't job making no loss in job. That not means that so bad Kafala they do, but usually people in that situation they can always think about their job, say, if I can't wait and corner, they can't put me in a job. You see, so that is why I said maybe the president emphasize for caution, we not go there too much, but some of them thing and they like the police, the army force, and all that, when they can't pick and all that, and that's I say. And then another thing is where somebody talk say, do you get for member, we think get for happy, so I'm winning left. In honestly, you get me, because me na a hardliner person. Be you not get for member, we think get for B, we left office, if they do the things properly. Because if they do things properly, fairly, then there's nothing to worry about. Because when you left office, they're not going to do you nothing. But if you know they do one properly, that's when we go say, instead get for think we left. You get me? But if you do one properly, I don't think there's anything to worry about. And then this man we talk about God say, who not mention God, you understand? You mentioned Catholic, even me to me not Catholic. But the Bible says, the very Bible says, God says vengeance is mine. Not to we they go revenge for person, and not to we're not, in all honesty, according to the Bible, they say we're not get right even for judge people then. But now when society don't can now, this not the economy where they talk about people they suffer, so we have to say something. You get me? But that not make us less religious, or we not think about we think God wants we for do. So now that's me get for say, and again, I tell everybody, thank you. We can listen to we, you understand? And for una, we feel to say we talk against the mandates then. No, maybe you come late, because if you not been come late, you for be no say me now one possibly they support BO and me not to mandate. You get me? But I support BO when they win the election, and I support them. You see, so maybe sometimes una not they just make sweeping statements if una can late. You see,
okay.
Now, some of me want advice. I don't know.
All right, thank you very much. So I will go to Mr. Eskangi. Mr. Eskangi, 2 minutes. What do you get to say about the callers, the remarks? We're not hearing you.
You're allowed to drink small water, so I go explain.
Oh, I beg.
2 minutes.
Listen, let's start, of course, with Pasheki, the prophet. Paddy man, when person call himself prophet, you can turn water into wine. You can't turn water into wine, you know, to prophet it for me. But let me address the other thing. You na APC man. When them in the thief money and deprive nurses, doctors, engineers, people who work for government, and deprive them a livable wage. Not to be God business them in the panel, na free business. Within a country where them people there APC, I was APC, probably more APC than you. You better check on ask who that maybe it's a APC. Now me look me and say, you know, la avoid them people there because they don't get the country at heart. You understand? Under APC and still under this SLPP, people they go hospital and die because they don't get oxygen. Oxygen when one of the most major things that we forget that every hospital you forget them. They don't get them. Again, me Branlowe died recently, Mr. Christiali. Well, when he need oxygen, when he did at the COVID center at 34 hospital, they get for going to Choice Rams Hospital for go take him for him. It doesn't make no sense. That is why corruption is bad. It is bad because it deprives the people. Now, Zainab from Canada, Zainab say they know me for go after them people there. No, Zainab, I disagree with you. Everybody will get right for lead with nation, or we nation choose for put in a position of trust is accountable to the people. Is accountable to the people. You understand? My only problem is that the commission of inquiry is not the proper vehicle for hold them people there to that level of accountability. Maybe it's because I speak as a lawyer. Now I make a see him that way. Let's go to one person we call, we say we hate Mindy. Make I tell you something. Nobody know hate Mende. If you're a nationalist like me, you will know that. It is just that when the SLPP is in power, which is basically a majority Mende-based party, most of their decisions that they make are tribal. You can quote me on that. Somebody else also said that when the APC was in power, it employed only Northerners. That is totally not true. I am not APC now. I am a member of C4C, the global chairman of C4C, but that's not true. Now the APC government, now the only government of the two government major parties they will get na Salone, when they're in power, then they employ people from all over. APC not get tribe. The founder of APC, Shaka Stevens, was born in Moyamba. Now Minde man. Never mind where people like talk in a Limba. Not have you talk one Limba na Minde man. Victor Fo, went on na APC for the longest na Minde man. So this talk about if we criticize una, say una they do something this way, una can't tell say una because you hate we. Not sure we all they buy that. That's rubbish for we. Now let me address one other thing. You see, when they talk about this corruption business, when man corrupt, I've been take notes. When man corrupt,
I don't say even the lawyer. If you know might make a cut you there today because I know for say we they come back and I go give you small time for talk.
But not just finish this sentence too.
Okay, go ahead.
This is an issue with Mantif 1 million Leone. Then you charge them 200 Leone. Not also it's supposed to be. When enforcing thief, the law says there's what is known as restitution. Restitution means you they pay back what you take. Then there is a fine. For every charge that you are charged with, there must be a fine. When we make that fine day, you understand, 10 times the amount of money where you thief, people then go think to them before they thief. You understand? If you thief government money and you bill $1 million owes, you understand? When we don't take the $1 million owes from you, that's restitution. They will fine you $10 million for the thief where you thief, for the breach where you breach the fiduciary duty. If you see we begin to do that, we'll go change. I go let you go back.
All right, thank you very much. And I know with lawyer is Iskandrin, a lawyer, you know, say they like for talk. That is what they are trained to do. Then go talk to they out talk you. So anyways, I want to make we technical team play the last audio for we, and then we go close with today. Make it play the last audio for we, make we all listen to the last audio, and then I will come back to my panelists.
He feel about the white paper recommendations.
Issues of accountability are always welcome as dividends of good governance. At the individual level, having participated in the proceedings of the Commission of Inquiry, defending the former heads of state and several of the ministers, were taken aback and disappointed at the outcome.
Why is that?
Because we have not seen the report, which has not been published. What we've seen is the white paper, and the findings of the white paper in some aspects are contradictory to what we experienced in court at the Commission. And furthermore, we see instances where evidence has suggested how the monies were applied and appropriated. But today, we see requests for those monies to be paid back. It's outrageous, it's shameful, it's vindictive.
The general idea behind the white papers seemed to be, in the words of the president, to make corruption unfashionable, to make it risky, to make it expensive. Do you agree with that sentiment?
It's all fine in word, but it has to be in deed and in action. But if the white paper is selective in its choice, and you can see in some aspects of it that it's an issue of vendetta, it definitely undermines the challenge of those words. So I think while it is highfalutin sounding, it is not what you see in real terms.
But why do you think it's a vendetta?
It is a vendetta, for example, the issues surrounding the Ebola force. The Anti-Corruption Commission has done its investigation and found nothing wrong. And these are the specialists in the area. And yet still, we see the white paper suggesting that monies were defrauded and monies to be paid back for work that has been done, for which evidence is there. It is outrageous and surprising.
Isn't the white paper calling for investigations into how money was spent and where it was spent improperly? Then you will have investigations and you will have prosecutions. Surely that sounds admirable.
In the areas where it is asking for investigation, it is clear the intent, because normally what you look at, try to find out what is the intention of seeking an investigation with the Anti-Corruption Commission, because there they want to go to court and then have people being dealt with by the court, so they will not take the blame for it. But these are matters that the commissions dealt with. The commissions came with a position and they have not released the report. What we want to see, release the raw data of the report so we can compare with what is on the white paper. The white paper is an addition. The white paper is something that the government has fixed up.
It seems from what we've seen of the white papers and what's contained in it, certainly, there are implications that the former president, Ernest Bai Koroma, is implicated in the corruption in Sierra Leone. Do you accept that that might be a possibility?
I personally participated in the commission of inquiry and I was representing him as his lawyer. And I'll speak objectively on this point, that there are issues where there are implications, but most certainly there are no issues where you could call legal implications or legal liability extended to him. We have issues where they've addressed houses, estates in his name, which do not belong to him, and yes, they've gone further and accept that they belong to him. We have issues where he has only owned 2 houses. We showed how he's earned his money, that he has the ability to build the 2 houses, yet still they took away the only 2 houses he's built. Here is somebody who's been a president for 10 years. He's been head of the opposition in parliament. He's been head as an executive of one of the foremost insurance companies in the country. And yet definitely he cannot even own 1 house. It can only be vindictive and a vendetta. What is clear is that they are out to impoverish him, to make him destitute, and will challenge that to the highest courts of the land.
In broad terms, there are people who feel that this could be a political witch hunt. Do you feel that way?
I feel more than that way. I myself am a victim. I gave a legal opinion about a matter that I believe that the Sierra Leone Supreme Court is the ultimate court of the country. And you couldn't believe what the white paper said, that for that legal opinion I've given, I should pay damages. Outrageous, disgraceful and shameful.
Former Sierra Leone Defense Minister Joseph Fitzgerald responding there to the interview that we had earlier by President Madabio. Still to come on Focus, the music and motive.
Right. So when I just don't listen to the take of the former Attorney General Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara on your own take on the white paper report. Now I want to go to my panelists them for the final closing for today, and I go give me summation, and then we go close for tonight. I go to Madam Selo. The talk boku, the talk not done it. So not talk all thing today. So now that make I go give una 2 minutes again for una closing. The talk boku, there is a lot to talk about. Today we just begin. Trust me, over the next coming weeks and whatnot, we will get to say everything we want to say. But let's take our time and let's do it right. Madam Selo, tell Famble them your last word for today.
Me Famble them, una thank you for una don't listen to we throughout this time. First of all, one for tell now for say corruption, we all day against corruption. We know they support corruption no matter what, in whatever way. Una will look at that. If then they deal with corruption, it has to be fair. Let it be fair for everybody on board. Every politician, as Sierra Leone, need to be scrutinized where they in governance. If you feel say you're not the righteous person, you know they do anything with corruptible, then we know they look at you. We know they even consider. And also the ACC boss, if you they take teachers and put them a cutting tree with billboard on them because they corrupt for exams and whatever, I think say if I do the same to every politician, I don't care who this politician is and whether the kind of relationship they get. Everybody forgets a fair share. So Sierra Leoneans, for what's not happy right now, where we dip and talk about this commission of inquiry and the white paper. We all get for be glad for say, if the corruption they kill them, let them kill them from the roots. But let it be something where we all for be beneficiaries of this corruption. Whatever proceeds they get, let the government know say the Salone people them deserve a better life and are therefore be beneficiary to anything where they therefore collect. Do ya, Papa government, will they beg you? Thank you. I'm your word for tonight.
Thank you very much, Madam Salu. I go to Madam Kadi Johnson Cole. 2 minutes. Waiting are your final word to fumble them today.
So my final word is that I want members then get this idea. Say one way we may think to say we can minimize corruption because we know we're able deal with corruption completely, because even the West corruption there, but it's just that they at a very, very low level. The degree of corruption at the West is not as much as over there. But what me they say is until we head of state then begin declare the asset openly, it will be difficult for law money corruption. Because if people know they go, if head of state they go declare just to one person or 2, 3 people, then no more. You get me? Eh? And not go make any, because then 2, 3 people, and especially they get close connections. You see, if they get that connections there, you see, so it's kind of difficult. But when they open up, okay, if not to let them get, if not to open themselves to the public at large, but let them get people that way like committee or something, different people from different regions, different areas, different walks of life, just different people. So if find out say, not go easy for letting people and they then come and connive. You see, then that time they open, because one thing we are believing, if the top man, I'm not saying President Bio is corrupt, but if the top man is squeaky clean, believe you me, the other one they all go follow suit, because they no say, when me no say me squeaky clean. You see, I'm not going to take anything from the other people. They can't go say, Nani go get in trouble. You see, but until they do that, I not see how, especially for Salone, because it also in corruption also boku now that he asked for deal with. You see, but having said that, somebody say nobody not with President Bio. Well, okay, yes, President Bio, it do what he able to do. You understand? But whether the government is within President Bio in power, if within in control, is another question. You see, we don't know. You understand? You see, because if they're within in control, then President Bio has to be responsible again for take full responsibility for anything that happen to any of his staff. Then, whether he is aware or not, again for be take full responsibility, and again for be very, very, very accountable. You see, because there is no accountability. Actually, this present government lacks accountability. That I would say so. Because I'm not saying it will begin cost me, but beyond no cost President, beyond no cost me, because I know say I support them. But at the truth at it all, they lack accountability. You see, so that is fact. So we get for put pressure, the members of the public get for put pressure. Well, really, once you are noticing, they're not they listen to the pressure stuff anyway, then they do it in the one do anyway. But anyway, we will still talk. Yes, we then listen, fine. You understand?
Thank you very much. I go to Mr. Iskandri, lawyer Iskandri, 2 minutes. Just say bye and final closing to people them this evening.
I get what drink me water. Why does the government need to issue a white paper? A white paper, this white paper and all other white papers, they are doctored documents. They are doctored documents. You see, let me say this Commission of Inquiry is a quasi-judiciary body, not like the court. But what the judges then say, then get one judge from this Commission of Inquiry, Dr. Bankole Thompson, one of the best judges I have ever appeared in front of. You understand? I know him very well. When he writes his opinions, he doesn't allow, when we were at the special court, he doesn't allow other people to write his opinions for him. He writes his own opinion. Why is it that we do not have a way where an incoming government should investigate the charges against charges of corruption, bring those people to trial, And if they are found guilty, we make them pay. We need to do that. Why is it that this government not produce the exact authenticated copy of waiting at the judges, the recommendations? All throughout the white paper, where I get with me, there's this saying, government accept the following conclusions or government accepts the following recommendations. It is not for the government to accept. When you have committed a crime, it's a crime against the government. The government of President Bio should have nothing to do with waiting the Commission of Inquiry fine. They should have nothing to do with that. Present the report, look at the report, read the report and say, this is what the report says. But the reason why the APC people and they call this a witch hunt, now because they know say this white paper, now a doctored edited report, you understand? And it reminds me of the NPRC junta. When NPRC came into power, they had commissions of inquiry. My father was the Minister of Tourism in Sierra Leone back then, and the best Minister of Tourism Sierra Leone has ever had. Go ask anyone, bar none. He never stole any money, did not build any house, had money. He was worked as an engineer for a long time, and still has his house in Waterloo Village. But guess what? When the Commission of Inquiry found that he was not in possession of funds outside of his remuneration, the NPRC doctored the white paper and fined him 10 million leones back then, and they said because he had not collected rent for a hotel from the person that controlled the hotel. Now you think about it. The actual document of the Commission of Inquiry said this man didn't do anything. But because they had a vendetta against people that served in the government, what they did was they doctored it and fined him 10 million leones. And thanks to President Kaba, when he came into power, he returned that money back to our family. You see, we must not use the law to help us get at our political opponents. That's what's happening in Sierra Leone now. Is that we 1 minute here, okay, we they use the law for get at people. Me no say they want to get at Aneskoruma. I don't say Aneskoruma tifo, but I can almost tell you that many members of his government were thieves. They were basically thieves, just like many members of this government are basically thieves. President Biono go know until the day we come on power. You understand? But then one use this white paper for discredit Aneskoruma, and it's the wrong way to do it, and for discredit Samura Kamara, and it's the wrong way to do it. If you not believe, say them people that take any money, investigate them, bring charges against them. But I'm telling you this, sister, the office of the prosecutor in Sierra Leone is weak in talent, very, very weak in talent. The former prosecutor with a sack, of course, I lost hope with her when she went into a meeting and started singing. And on this note, I will end. Madame Dio, that I lost it. I realized then that this woman was not a lawyer. She was not even a politician. I rest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eskange. Well, Fambul them, if you have been there, so when we begin this event, I've been telling I say this now a 4-part series. Today, I don't do the lay of the land. I don't take una from Usai we come out, say Usai we dey so right now. So now, when we meet again, we begin from Usai we dey so right now and look at everything like where they can say nyaka nyaka all thing, we get for nyaka 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 all thing. But me thing is that how we go able nyaka nyaka all thing proper one. And with without bias, without favoritism. Are we go able really nyaka all thing to the letter? When we get a president where in your statement say that one of the key recommendations of the commissions of inquiry when if a public official thief, that person therefore be barred from public office for life. That person then not for all public office anymore, because the trust where the Sierra Leonean people them put na in and it don't betray that trust there by waiting he do. But the president said that then one of the recommendations them where they reject out of the recommendations of the commissions of inquiry. So here I say to you, how serious are we really about fighting corruption? How serious are we really about sending the message? When the president also say in office not interested in imprisonments, what he interested in is collecting back assets and negotiating and finding ways of getting people to return back state looted properties and assets or what have you. Again, I ask you the question, how serious are we in fighting corruption? How serious are we in fighting corruption when you make a white paper report? A white paper report basically just extrapolating what you feel say necessary. If we were really serious about fighting corruption, if we were really serious about, really taking time and doing the things that were necessary for make sure say we not find ourselves in this situation anymore, I think say within this current state for don't do now for release the actual recommendations as it were written by the judges, the 3 judges of the commissions of inquiry. Then I've been for no say yes, then really, really serious. Written in their own words, verbatim, just as they have put it, their findings and their recommendations thereafter. But we not get that. Waiting we get instead is a selectivity. It's a selective conclusions of the recommendations by the judges will lead to the white paper report. Why not release the full recommendations? Why not release the full findings? Me, Matilda, we sit down I've been for rather on I release the 500-page or the 1,000-page document and I define command. Listen, when you've written academic materials, if you don't read till you don't tire, so really not a problem for we. Me yellow marker, me yellow highlighter, they do me justice. I mean for the highlighters, I they read at the highlighters, I they read at the highlights. And then come to a proper deduction by my own reasoning of the thinking processes behind the judges them, how they think, how they arrive at the conclusion, how they arrive at the decision, why they make the recommendations the way that they make. But I tell you what, people, at this very junction, waiting we get now a white paper report. So we not go end here so today. I promise una next week, by the grace of the Almighty, we can begin peel at the statement by His Excellency, the President, on the acceptance of the white paper. We go look at what he say, and we no go tap there. We go right into the cotos, the deduction or reduction or summary, because a white paper is basically a summary. You pull here, put here, cut here, put here, whatever. A summary of Honorable Mr. Justice William Hanan Atu Goba in court. We go into a young white paper as well. And we go see waiting Mr. Atuguba when him be responsible. I go read the title for now. It says Sierra Leone Government White Paper on the report of the Honorable Mr. Joseph Williams Anand Atuguba Commission of Inquiry into Assets and other related matters in respect to persons who were President, Vice President, Ministers, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers, and heads and chairmen of board and parastatals, departments and agencies within the period from 2007 to 2018. That is what we're going to look at. I've been telling I say 2 hours not enough. If we can't sit down here 2 hours, we look at all them 3 reports here plus the statement plus everything else. Trust me, we will not be doing Sierra Leone justice. In all of the colors, and even within the panelists, waiting we keep for Yeri is SLPP, APC. SLPP, APC. I, Matilda, what I'm interested in is Sierra Leone. I don't care if there's a party called SLPP. I don't care if there is a party called APC. But what I truly care about is a country called Sierra Leone and its people called Sierra Leoneans. So if I want to do justice to a country called Sierra Leone and its people called Sierra Leonean, a land that God has blessed my navel to come from, I for take me time. And so next week, we go look at the president's statements and we go look at Justice Williams and then, in Kotos, see waiting the white paper say, but waiting if and waiting then take. Because at this point, the white paper, they give we a summary, a summation, waiting them feel say them for take from waiting Ifen and waiting Issay. What I would have rather be given everything about his full summary, his full report, and let me fine comb it, and let me arrive at a conclusion. But this is what they've given us, and this we get for work with. So me fumble them, make we patient over the next coming weeks. We could take them coming to them. We could take them look at them because this thing no get for done today. Abandon a my own statement for today. I know say unake. Una don't use so work and go for them 10 minutes and more. But we are not there today. I want to tell me panelists then thank you. I want to tell Madam Kadi Johnson called boku thank you. They call from England. We all know almost o'clock now England right now. If it is not love for country, who will be up at this time of the night? Calling from another time zone, staying up at this time of the morning, because it's not even night anymore, this time of the morning, talking about the nation, talking about the country. I want to thank Madam Selu for in time. I want to thank Lawyer Iskandgi for in time. Don't be surprised if I had another lawyer to the mix next week, because the things that were the insider reports, Matilda go able to reduce them to a certain point, but there are key words, there are key sentences, key statements that need legal minds, legal explanation for broken down to the ordinary people in the way they go understand. Again, I say Corona is real. Una wear, una mask them, una wash, una hand them, una practice social distancing. The one that we say Corona no de Salone na thief, then the thief with money, na money they want it's na money making scheme. I can always say to una, let posterity be their judge. But for una life precious. No follow what you they see and go lost your life. Because now one life na God give you. So all and tight. So everybody else, everywhere else, anywhere you find yourself in the world, may God bless we all. May God give we waiting we defend at this world. Make He protect, guide we all until we meet again May God continue for watch over we country, watch over we land, and watch over we serve. May God bless we all. Onatata.
All right.